Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, and behold, as you're witnessing the official first review video on this channel, and what better way to kick off with none other than Captain America from Avengers Endgame. This figure was long awaited by many fans ever since the release of the film back in 2019. If you're a die-hard Marvel or Captain America fan like I am, stick around to the video to see if this figure is right for you. Now, if you're new here, please hit the like button and subscribe for more future Marvel review content. Without further ado, let's go ahead and unbox the figure to see the accessories and, most importantly, the figure itself. Now, before we unbox the figure, let's take a look at the box art, as it presents an impressive artwork of Captain America. So far, the Hot Toys Avengers Endgame lineup has been providing us some of the most crisp and clean artwork designs, such as Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Iron Man Mark 85, to which you can actually look into one of my previous videos here in this channel. One thing you'll notice is that throughout the entire box, we do have this space background. In my opinion, it resembles a scene where both Captain Marvel and Tony Stark first met in the film. Also, you'll notice the Avengers logo camouflaged to Cap. Quite good looking. Now, on the sides here, we do have Captain America MMS 536 1/6 scale collectible figure, alongside with Captain America's logo. And on the back, we do have much of the information such as warning hazards, and also towards the right side here we do have Hot Toys contacts information such as their Facebook and also their website. Now, same thing here on the side, like previously we've seen before, it does still pretty much the same. At the very bottom, we do have Avengers Endgame logo. So far, I'm quite liking the box. Now, let's go ahead and dive a little bit more into this and see all the accessories and, most importantly, the figure itself. And voila, there we have it, all the accessories out of the kit. Now, for those who have owned any previous Hot Toys Captain America, you will notice that there are quite a bit of similarities when it comes to the accessories. For example, we do have 5 interchangeable hands. Let me go ahead and show off one of them. Next, we do have the 2 interchangeable facial expressions. And then we do have this small piece right here. It's actually quite useful if you do plan to have Cap's shield on his back. Now, there are quite a bit of different changes here, though, that Hot Toys have added to the kit. For example, we do have this small, tiny compass here. Now, with this compass here, even though it's very small, there's a lot of good details to it. For example, we do have Peggy Carter's picture on the front. Very well good looking for the compass. Next, we do have this display stand, and I'm a big fan of this, to be honest with you. Now, I know most Hot Toy figures, they tend to go ahead and give off this rectangular display stand, and considering that my IKEA display case's space is quite limited, this right here is very beneficial if you do have a whole bunch of figures to add on in one single area. This can actually limit from it being bulked up. But what you see here first, we do have Cap's logo alongside with the Avengers logo as well, and we have Captain America's name printed on the side. It also comes along with this crotch grabber, which is actually here on this side here. Next, let's go ahead and focus on the shield. At first, you'll notice that there's a whole bunch of scratch marks around it, giving this impression that Cap just went off to battle. And I'm a big fan of this, to be honest with you. It's not bad. Doesn't give off too many scratch marks on it, but just enough to give off this illusion that Cap just went off to war. Now on the back, same thing here as well. There's a lot of good details across the straps from here. Another thing to add is that this is actually plastic, not die-cast, which means that this right here is very beneficial when it comes to weight. It's very lightweight, and it helps the figure hold the shield. As opposed to die-cast, die-cast actually holds a little bit of extra weight to it. And most of the time, we do run into a bit of issues when it comes to having Cap hold the shield for a long time, because majority of the times it does tend to fall off. Next, we'll take a look here at the broken shield pieces. For those who have owned the D23, I can guarantee you that the issue that one had has been fixed. Now, even though I don't own the figure, I will say it looks very amazing. For those who did not know, that the D23 Hot Toys Captain America that was actually sold last year actually had a bit of an issue with its strap, considering that it was actually made backwards. Now with this one, it's been fixed. Thank you, Hot Toys. But overall, I like this shield, which I'm actually going to use to display my Cap figure, considering that at the end of the film, Cap did really use this shield throughout the entire scene to battle off against Thanos' army. Next, let's take a look here at the helmet. So with the helmet here, we do see that it's almost looks like the real head size of Cap. Next, we see that it also holds this dirt looking about everywhere, just like Cap's shield does. Again, you'll see that's something common you'll see throughout the entire figure, but so far I'm actually quite liking this. And now let's take a look at the money-making shot. And boom! You guys can already tell that this right here is Chris Evans immediately. Hot Toys did an amazing job with this, with the face paint, alongside with the small facial details to it, alongside with the eyes, nose, the posture that it holds, this expression that just gives off this seriousness of Cap. And from whatever angle you look at it, it sounds of Chris Evans spot on. I am very content with what Hot Toys had delivered here. Their head sculpt is one of the most amazing artworks that any other Hot Toy figure has been made. So far, this right here is an amazing head sculpt. Good job, Hot Toys. Next, let's take a look at the head sculpt. And my goodness, does it look dead on of Chris Evans? Hot Toys did an amazing, fabulous job with making this head sculpt right here. From whatever angle you look at it, it looks so identical of the actor himself. One thing you'll notice is from the top of his hair, it actually holds this gold color texture to it. And the face paint is very well dead on. Of course, you can see the eyes glowing from here, but that's just due to the light. But nevertheless, this is an amazing head sculpt right here, to which I know many people will be taking pictures of. And will I be adding this to my Cap throughout my rest of the Avengers line? Every now and then I will. But this right here, again, is an amazing head sculpt. Hot Toys, you blew it out the park. Very, very well done. Next, let's take a look at the hammer, or should I say Mjolnir. Now, I don't know about you, but when I saw this scene in the film for the first time, I was mind blown. And immediately I thought, once I left the theater, that My goodness, what I would love to recreate this scene right here of Cap holding Mjolnir's shield. And I'm very, very content with Hot Toys delivering this Mjolnir alongside with the rest of the accessories, considering that this one was an epic scene that most MCU fans were excited to see on the big screen. Now, you'll notice here from the top we do have a bit of a texture alongside the sides here, which is actually quite very well detailed. And of course, it comes with a little strap at the very bottom. And I must say, the Mjolnir actually holds light. It actually has this lightweight to it, which is actually quite good, considering that most Hot Toy figures tends to have a bit of an issue when it comes to anything that has die-cast or any added extra weight to it. But so far, with all the accessories that it comes with, I'm very, very content with it. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to add all of these to it. Now let's go ahead and bring the big and bad boy here, the one and only Captain America. And there we have it, Captain America. Already, I'm having goosebumps just seeing him in person. Ever since the announcement has been made that included his pictures, a lot of people like myself were a bit skeptical of whether or not Hot Toys would improve on this figure. And I must say, they have. To start, regardless of whatever pose he's in, either in a dynamic or museum pose, he holds this triumphant presence, which will look incredible to your collection. Now let's break down the figure by taking a closer look at it. Starting with its head sculpt, we see that it looks just identical to Chris Evans. Again, with its beautiful textures such as the color tone, as well as with its eyes, the facial expression that it provides. And if you look around the shield here just in a second, you'll notice it actually has a bit of scars all over it. Again, I must clarify that the entire figure is not battle damaged. Again, we're still waiting to see if Hot Toys will make an announcement if whether or not they'll make a battle damaged Captain America. But just like other figures such as the Iron Man Mark 85 and even Thanos, this has slight scratches here and there, but it's nothing that it actually takes away the impression of a good figure. If anything, it just adds much more of a amazing detail to it. Now with the head sculpt, also we're gonna take a look here at the chest, and already we're seeing a great improvement. Now let's look at it here from the sides. For those who are quite die-hard collector fans of Captain America, you will notice that the chest plate isn't flat at all. If anything, it actually shows a little bit more puffiness as opposed to the previous Captain Americas, and we've seen time and time again that the Captain America figures does not provide that accurate chest-like of the character itself or the actor. But nevertheless, this is actually quite good. Again, a little flat, but not too much. Alongside, we do have the straps here, which is actually much more thicker than the previous one, which is actually Civil War and the Infinity War one. This one is actually much more thicker, much more accurate as opposed to the previous two. Great improvement from there already. Next, you'll notice here on the shield itself, the star though, I know a lot of people have been complaining of whether or not the star has been accurate to the film, and I have to say it is. Not necessarily all the way, but just 80% amount. For what it is, the size of it isn't that tiny like most people would say, but so far I'm liking it. Next, we'll see here on the side we do have its ab section. This here has a bit of a different texture to it, much more clothing-like, and I actually like it. The patterns here, you can actually sense it, you can feel it. Alongside comes with the belt. I do have to address that my Captain America figure, for some reason, the belt actually came off loose. And as I was trying to attach it here on this side here, as you can see the connectors, it didn't allow me. If anything, this side here wouldn't actually strap on. So the only way I could have this added was if I lifted the belt a little bit higher here towards the app section, which again is a bit of a bummer, but I mean, I just have to work around with it. But so far, the belt itself is actually pretty good looking. A lot of good details to it. This time we see that the middle section here is actually much more bigger than before. And of course, if you do own the Captain America figure of this, you will also notice that these are the sections that will hold to the belt. So hopefully yours doesn't come off as bad as mine's, but it doesn't take away the awesomeness of this figure. Next, let's look here a little bit up on his arms. Now, one thing you'll notice is the strap here is very good looking. It has the Avengers logo on it, alongside with this texture of its clothing. It actually is very useful because most Hot Toy figures, when it comes to posing, whether the arms or legs, they have a bit of a limited amount just due to either the texture of the fabric or texture of the suit itself. But this one though, I see no problems with it, as you can bend it and you won't have much creases on it, but it's enough to actually give you much more mobility to move around and pose without having to be worried about whether or not it'll be creased. But so far I have bent the arm quite a few and I don't see any creases yet. Again, it just depends on how much force you put it and how long it stays can play a factor in if whether or not it'll crease throughout time. But so far, I've had this displayed with his arm bent for a couple days, and so far I have not seen much issues. But again, that is at your own risk. Next, we'll see here at its pants, and you'll see that there's a lot of different patterns here throughout its entire pants. And we're going to go over its articulation throughout the next several minutes. But for now, let's look at the patterns here. The knee pads. Very useful if you do want to go ahead and bend it up. But again, I'll go over the articulation here in just a few. But for now, that's how it'll look. Again, very well detailed. And last but not least, the boots. And so far, as I now understand that the boots look very well dead on. The only issue I'm having so far with these Captain America boots is the bottom piece here. I don't know about you guys, but just having this gap here is quite unnerving, for me at least. It doesn't work well. But as you can tell, the boots does have very well good details to it. Let's take a look here at the bottom side for both boots. Again, that's the only thing that I have an issue with here, is that it's just this gap, and it's worth noting that there are no ankle pivot here. So of course, just this boot that you see here is all that you get. There's not much more movement to it as it comes to ankle pivot, but we'll go over that here just in a few. But so far overall, I'm liking this. Now, if we can, let's go ahead and look towards the back here, starting from the bottom all the way to the top. Again, Hot Toys did an amazing job so far. Next, let's take a look at its level of articulation. Starting off with the head, it can move from either down, up, side to side. Also, another good thing that they added in is that the clothing here does not have any issues if you were to move the head a little bit tilt towards the bottom here. Of course, you have this space here, this gap right here on this side, that avoids from ever having any damage on the suit. Next, Let's check out to see how far the arms can move. We can move it just as much as this. We could even bend the arm as this far. In and out. Now, one thing I will the pads here. One thing to note is that the pads here actually blocks much movement from ever being bent, which is why I can't move as far up. But please don't risk going as much more than it should, as it can damage your figure rapidly. As for the legs, it can move this much. And that's as far as I'll go, just seeing that the knee pad blocks from it going any higher. And that's actually quite useful, as it avoids from the pants being ever creased or ripped. As for the knees, this is how much it can be moved. Quite good enough. Also, same thing with the foot here, as I addressed earlier. The only movement you can see here is through the ankles, but again, there is no ankle pivot. Just this motion you can move alongside with. But good enough. So far, good enough. Now, I'm going to go ahead and compare the head sculpt that comes with Captain America alongside with the remaining other Avengers, starting off with Black Widow. Next, we have Hawkeye / Ronin Hawkeye Endgame Deluxe version. Next, we have him alongside with the Mighty Thor. And last but not least, here we have him side by side with the most controversial head sculpt since Ant-Man from Ant-Man and the Wasp, and that is the Tony Stark head sculpt from Avengers Endgame. Now, it is to say, though, that regardless of what your opinion is, it is amazing to have both these figures side by side. And while, yes, Hot Toys is still in the works of giving us a new head sculpt, I'm a big personal fan of this. And just to have them side by side, it's amazing to see how far we've come through ever since the release of the film. So, at this moment, we're just waiting for the big one, the Mighty Thor. Until then, this will do. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, Avengers Endgame Captain America. It has been a long 2 years of a wait, but I'm in peace knowing that we finally have this figure in our hands, especially this early in the year. Hot Toys took their time to make any modifications they can make to make this as realistic and accurate to the character in the film. I wish I had the D23 Captain America figure to compare this to, but I don't. However, if you do have it, you have to ask yourself this question. Would you still keep your D23? Or pick up this new one? Or why not have both? Now, is it the perfect Captain America figure of them all? In my opinion, yes. But for now. You see, its accessories, head sculpt, and the overall figure is enough for me to consider this to be the best Captain America figure out there in the market today. Could they make some improvements? Sure. For example, with their belt, that boot gap, and perhaps maybe even provide us an official battle damage of the figure. But for now, I'll keep what I have. I highly recommend to pick this up. Now, this is not a sponsor video, but I do purchase mine from Toyswonderland. They sell any new figure releases when Hot Toys officially sells them. I will leave the link to it in the description box below. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Till then, I'll see you all in the next video.